Hi, welcome to a good old-fashioned reading vlog. This is going to be a 48-hour reading vlog for my bucket list weekend readathon. This is a readathon that I'm hosting every few months with my patrons. It is a mini readathon running over the course of one weekend, and there are 9 different prompts on a bingo board for me to complete, which I'm going to be reading quite a few different books for. I have got 5 different books I would like to try and read this weekend. I'll run through what they are, run through the prompts and the whole concept of the readathon with you. So this is basically a mini readathon as part of a whole year-long readathon with my patrons. If you want to join in on any of the stuff that I'm talking about, it's available to all tiers of my Patreon. It's running throughout the whole of 2025. You can join whenever you would like. This little mini readathon is one of many, so there will be many more in future months as well. So if you do want to join, there is a link down below. It's a fun time. I'm really enjoying taking part already. So basically, I wanted to create some kind of a game readathon type thing, and I was really struggling to think of what would work. And then I thought of the Biblio bucket list. I did not think of the name for the Biblio bucket list. That credit goes to my Patreons. But the Biblio bucket list is basically a year-long readathon that is inspired by a bucket list. It's got lots of different prompts on it that are reading prompts that are linked to a bucket list. So there's 25 different prompts, and you can complete those with a book each. For each prompt you can do 25 different books. You can double up. However you want to do it is absolutely fine. It's the same with this mini readathon. It's just for fun and just giving you some prompt ideas if you want to go down that route. So that's running throughout the whole of 2025, and then these little mini readathons are inspired by one of the items on the main bucket list, and then there's going to be further prompts around that one item. So for this readathon we are going to be volunteering abroad, and there are 9 different prompts in a little mini bingo board to complete. So here are the prompts for the little mini readathon. You basically have to complete 3 of these to get bingo, but you can do as many as you would like. You can double up, so you could do 3 prompts but read 1 book that spans across those 3 prompts, or you can read a different book for each, like however you want to do it. I have managed to accidentally work out that if I read the whole TBR that I have for myself this weekend, I complete the bingo board, which I wasn't intending to do. However, you know, I won't say no if I'm able to do it. I was actually looking at my shelves last night, like, how am I struggling so much to pick books for a readathon that I created? But it was not happening. So this is the TBR that I've strung together. I think this should be quite doable. I've got quite a few graphic novels on here. I'm gonna go into it. I am doubling up on quite a few, so I'm just gonna have a look at the prompts myself. So the first prompt is pack light to read digitally. So I'm gonna be reading on my Kindle, and I'm going to be reading Don't Let the Forest In by C.G. Drews. I know very little about this. I think it's a YA. It's around 300 pages, so it should be perfect for a readathon. There is a foresty, I don't know if it's like folklore magic system. I'm not really sure. What are we calling like the foresty, mushroomy magic systems? That kind of thing, I think. I'm assuming. Hang on, not every fairy tale has a happy ending. Okay, so folklore-y fairy tale-esque. Look, I don't know very much, but I know that I want to read this, and I've seen loads of people loving it, and I am excited to get into this one. So this one's probably going to be the last one that I read. And then for volunteer with animals, read a book with an animal on the cover, I have got Cat Gamer. This is volume 2. This is by Waturi Nadatani and is translated by Zach Davison. I loved volume 1. It was very cute and wholesome, so this seems perfect. And look at the animal on the cover! Work with your local community, read a book with multiple POVs. This one I actually struggled with the most because I didn't necessarily know what books I had on my shelves with multiple POVs. One part of me was considering doing a real big challenge and trying to read the whole of The Toll by Neil Shusterman, which is like over 600 pages. But I thought, you know what, off the back of this, I've just finished reading a very chunky book that I finished a day ago, and you'll see that in a vlog coming soon. And I didn't want to put myself under too much pressure to do that again in such a short amount of time, so I ended up picking Lore Olympus Volume 3 by Rachel Smythe. Now, this is not first-person narrative, so it's like you are following different characters' point of views, but you're not necessarily, it's not technically like their point of view in terms of their narrative, but I'm gonna make it work. I love this series so much. I actually thought I had read further into it than just 2 volumes. It feels like I've read more than that, but this is super fun. It's kind of modern day Greek mythology. And just, the illustrations are beautiful, and it follows loads of different characters, and I cannot wait to keep going with this series. So that one's going to be really fun. Extract honey from a beehive, read a book with a mostly yellow cover. I actually really struggled with this because one of my prompts for Fictionary this month is to read a book with a yellow cover. So I'd already picked one out for my February TBR, and I also didn't really want that book to be the one I read this weekend either. I have a very large gap in my shelves for books with yellow on the cover. Despite the fact that everything around me is yellow, the books are not. I do have a couple, but they weren't ones that I was wanting to read, so Lore Olympus Volume 4 by Rachel Smythe. Now, it does say with mostly yellow on the cover, but I'm going to just take that with a pinch of salt, and I made the game, so I'm allowed. But yellow, I actually didn't realise that this had the yellow on the cover, and I was picking out Volume 3 from my shelf, and I saw the top of this one. I was like, that's yellow on the cover, that fits the prompt. So I'm going to be reading both Volume 3 and Volume 4 of Lore Olympus in this vlog. I guess this would also suit for the work with the local community, read book with multiple POVs, but obviously I need to read Volume 3 to read Volume 4. Teach someone your language, read a translated fiction. So for that I'm going to be reading More Days at the Murasaki Bookshop. This is by Satoshi Yagasawa and is translated by Eric Ozawa. This is the sequel to Days at the Murasaki Bookshop, which is a lovely wholesome story about a family coming together, a girl and her uncle. She goes to work at his bookshop. She's not really a big fan of books, but they help her on a healing journey. So this one for translated fiction. I could have done Cat Gamer Volume 2 for that as well, I suppose, but I wanted to add a couple of different books into the mix. This is where the doubling up comes in. So make a new friend, read a book suggested by another patron. That is Don't Let the Forest In. One of my patrons suggested that for me. Look after baby turtles, read a tiny book, and I've put in brackets, I'll leave that up to you to decide how small it has to be. This one's going to double up for that prompt. Go to a local festival, read a book about a different culture to yours. That'll be this one again. And the final one is fly across the world, read a book in 24 hours, which I feel like any of these ones are probably going to be ones I read within 24 hours, but that is the TBR. I think it should be realistic. I need to actually start with my reading. It's 9:30 at the moment. I'm going to head out in a little bit because I'm doing sprints at 12 today and probably 12 tomorrow as well. Basically all afternoon into the evening sprints, both Saturday and Sunday. So that's going to give me a load of motivation for reading. But I really want to go to this big clothing barn place in my town today that I went to as a child, didn't realise it was still there, and then recently found out that it is in fact still there. But it's basically just a huge shop of secondhand clothes, and I want to have a little bit of a mooch around. I'm really after a very specific type of like leather jacket blazer thing. So I want to see if they've got anything there. I don't know if they will. I don't know if it's going to be any good, but I just wanted to have a poke about. So I'm going to do that before sprints. It just gets me out a little bit. It's quite sunny outside today. In fact, it's very sunny. It's clear blue skies. It's my favourite type of day. So I'm feeling good. I'm feeling excited. I'm looking forward to getting to these books. I hope you enjoy this vlog. This is just going to be your good old-fashioned reading vlog. So the clothing barn was a little bit of a stressful experience. There was stuff and people everywhere. It was very, very hard to sift through. There was one leather blazer jacket thing that I tried on, but it wasn't quite the vibe I was after. So I'm going to go up to TK Maxx and have a look and see if they've got anything. Sometimes I find some really good stuff there, sometimes not so much. So I'm going to see what they've got, and then sprints start in about an hour. So I've got a little bit of time to have a mooch. I just want to break up the day a little bit. I know I could be sat reading right now, but I just like the idea of breaking up the day so I'm not just in my flat the whole time. So the hunt for the leather jacket completely failed. TK Maxx did not have anything. There was another, I think it's British Heart Foundation charity shop up at our retail park. That did not have anything, but did have quite a few other good things to have a mooch around. And then the clothing barn did not have anything and also stressed me out because it was very in there. Anyway, TK Maxx did have a load of candles, and I have recently burnt through all of my like big chunky candles, so I got 2 candles, so it's a candle haul. The first one is called Harmony, which is wild sage, crushed jasmine, linden flowers, cedar leaf and driftwood, and it smells amazing. You can't smell it because you're on the other side of a camera, but trust me, it smells good. And then I also got sandalwood and patchouli. Sandalwood and patchouli individually are some of my favourite scents, so yes please. Oh, it smells so good. Sorry for the sniffing sounds. I also picked up the goods in Marks and Spencer's. I got Chicky Chocky speckled eggs, which are the best. They're better than mini eggs, okay? They're better than mini eggs. And the Valentine's Day Love Hearts, which have salted caramel inside of them, and they're so good. Also, whilst we're at the haul, I got these crisps, which are the best crisps. Well, they're not the best crisps. They're pretty good. They're very good crisps. And a fun fact about me is that I can make one of these into a whistle. Would you like to see? Okay, hang on. I have to basically very delicately gnaw a little hole in it, so please hold. Okay, you ready? You're gonna be really impressed. Are you really impressed? Sprints have started, so I'm going to be starting my first read now, which is Lore Olympus Volume 3. myself some sushi for lunch and I am halfway through my first read. I finished my first book of the Readathon. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I love this series so much. It's so fun and playful with the illustration style. Absolutely love the use of colour in it as well, and I love the integration of the Greek mythology in a modern day setting. It's kind of like what Chaos did, the Netflix show last year that did not get renewed for a season 2, which I am incredibly sad about. If I could go and renew one cancelled Netflix show, it would be Chaos, because I just thought it was fantastic, and I would still highly recommend it even though it's only got 1 season. Anyway, I digress, but what that show did and what this book does is integrates the Greek mythology into the modern world in a really fun way, and I love the way that this approaches that, and I'm very excited for volume 4, which I think I will read in the morning. I think that one will be for tomorrow. I think next I'm going to go for Cat Gamer volume 2, and then also see if I can squidge in more days at the Morisaki bookshop all today, and then tomorrow that leaves me with volume 4 of Lore Olympus and Don't Let the Forest In. I've ticked off 2 of the bingo board prompts with this one. I've got Travel Across the World, which is read a book in 24 hours, and then Work with a Local Community, which is read a book with multiple POVs. So I'm off to a good start. Okay, it is the end of the first day of the readathon, and I have read 3 books today, which I'm really pleased with. So, since I last updated you, I read and finished Cat Gamer Volume 2. This is such a cute graphic novel series. When I went to Cyprus in October last year, there were so many stray cats. If you watch the vlog, you will know that we fell in love with Billy Pickles, who was this little stray cat who would sit on our laps, and I've not stopped thinking about him since, and reading this really made me think about him again. This main character loves her cat so much. She's a gamer. She kind of is used to just being by herself, and then this cat comes into her life, and it's great, and it's so cute. I am excited to carry on with this series. I gave this 4 out of 5 stars, and then I read More Days at the Morisaki bookshop. This is by Yatoshi Yagasawa and is translated by Eric Ozawa. This is the sequel to Days at the Morisaki bookshop, which is a healing translated fiction about the power of books. And this very much had that theme in it as well, and how the power of books is so different for different people. This one felt a lot sadder, I will say, than the first one. I pulled out 2 specific paragraphs that I just think were worded so beautifully. So this one says, "When I'm sad, I read. I can go on reading for hours. Reading quiets the turmoil I feel inside and brings me peace. Because when I'm immersed in the world of a book, no one can get hurt." And I thought that was really beautifully worded. And then this one really got me. "When you're sad, don't try to hold it in. It's okay to cry a lot. The tears are there because you've got to go on living. You're going on living, which means there'll be more things to cry about. They'll come at you from all sides. Don't ever try to hide from sadness. When it comes, cry it out. It's better to keep moving forward with that sadness. That's what it means to live." I just thought both of those were beautifully written, and just generally this book was really lovely reading experience as well, and I just love anything that shows the magical power of books. So that is the end of day 1. We were on sprints for 8 hours, so lots and lots of reading was done. Tomorrow the plan is to read volume 4 of Lore Olympus and to read Don't Let the Forest In. I think I'll probably read a little bit of Don't Let the Forest In later when I go to bed. But other than that, that is everything for today. I'm pretty pleased with the progress, and I hope you are enjoying the vlog so far. Good afternoon, it is day 2 of the readathon. I am about 30% into Don't Let the Forest In by C.G. Drews. I realise I haven't really told you what this one's about, and that is because I don't really fully know what it's about. I'm kind of going off of the foresty vibes. I know that it's specifically following 2 characters, one of whom fancies the other one. They're 2 boys that go to this boarding school, and one of them has a twin sister who also goes to the school, and they're all this group of friends. One of them likes writing, one of them likes art, and they create stories together, and then there's these weird foresty things happening. That's what I can tell you about the plot. I'm enjoying it so far. I forgot how easy and speedy it is to read YA like this, so I'm having a good time with this. I went to a cafe this morning and got some breakfast and was just reading that whole time. My goal is to read about half of this and then dive into Lore Olympus Volume 4 just to break this up a little bit, but this is literally just the TBR for today, just these 2, and I'm already obviously 30% into this one, so I've already made a pretty good dent. I'm excited to keep going with Lore Olympus Volume 4. These books will just kind of lead on in chapters into the next book anyway, so it'll just feel like I've continued on immediately from my reading yesterday, which is nice. And then obviously we'll finish this one. I'm really pleased with how my reading's gone this weekend. It's been a while since I've done a challenge type reading vlog with prompts and like the 48-hour time limit on it all as well, and I'm having a good time. It's fun. This book has some really cool illustrations in it. We're back in this little nook for me to wrap up the vlog. Full disclaimer, I haven't quite finished my 5-book TBR yet, but I nearly have, and I will have finished it by this evening. But I've got a little bit of a headache brewing, and I just feel like I just want to sit quietly, and I will finish this. I also want to start season 2 of Ted Lasso, because I started that season 1 last weekend, and I love that show so much. So I just want to sit quietly for the evening, so I'm going to wrap this up here and basically give you my thoughts so far. I've only got, like, I think I've got about 60 or 70 pages left of Don't Let the Forest In, so I really don't have much left, and I definitely will be finishing it tonight. I don't like to end vlogs when I haven't finished the book, but for the sake of just being able to have the rest of my evening chill and not think about ending the vlog, I think this is going to come out at around a 3.5 out of 5 stars. I think the magic system is really interesting, and I can't really go into details as to why I think that because it would be spoiler territory, but this kind of gives me Bridge to Terabithia vibes. It's got that kind of fantasy, brilliant creativity to it, I think. I really like that. I love the fact that both of the main characters are so creatively fueled as well with their writing and their art, and I think the relationship between them is really interesting to see how they differ from each other and how that the relationship is kind of like changing and pushing the plot forward as well. There are times where I feel frustrated, and at times it seems like it's very much like one of them is just kind of leaning into being the victim all of the time, and at sometimes I wish that wasn't the case. Sometimes we kind of get fleckers of it, but yeah, that's literally the only gripe that I have with it in that sense. I think that the representation of mental health and anxiety is talked about in a really delicate and well done way in this as well. There's a lot of relatable moments with panic attacks that I think have been portrayed in a really good way, and I love the support and talk in this for the LGBTQA+ community as well. I think it does a brilliant job of that. So I have been really enjoying it. It's been a really fast, fun one to zoom through for this weekend. I did read Lore Olympus Volume 4. I didn't enjoy this one as much as I did Volume 3 yesterday. Did still like it, gave it 3.5 out of 5 stars. I think that this series has been stretching the same kind of plot out along 4 books now, and I know it's not like necessarily book because it's digitized, isn't it? Isn't it like a webtoon thing where it's all available, I think? So it's just been like put in book format like after it had already been created as like one giant story. So I suppose that kind of breaks it up for me a little bit more, but I feel like it's just been going on for so long now that there needs to be some kind of big thing happening, like some kind of big gesture or big plot movement that I'm just waiting on happening. So I think this one for me felt like it was a little bit of a slog to get through. I did still really enjoy it, so that seems mean to say that, but like I still liked it. I still love the art style and everything in it, and it's really cute, and I love how it kind of flits about the different stories, but I'm waiting for something big to happen that maybe will happen in Volume 5. Anyway, those are my thoughts, those are my books. I have read 5 books this weekend. I will have when I've finished Don't Let the Forest In, which I definitely will be doing tonight. I've had a really good time reading all my patrons. We've been on the live show all day today, all day yesterday. It's a good time. If you ever want to join in this readathon, this is a year-long readathon that's running like throughout the whole of 2025, and this weekend has been part of mini readathons that are going to be every few months, so there will be many more of these to come. So if you would like to join in, there is a link down below. These are available to all tiers. I also do weekly sprints that is available to the Hobbiton tier upwards. We have a book club, we have a Discord, you get discounts in my online shop, you get free digital downloads, there's loads of fun things. I enjoy it very much. I love the Patreon community so much. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. I'm gonna go de-bloop myself now, that's a word, and go watch Ted Lasso and have some dinner. I know I said I was done with the vlog, but I just finished Don't Let the Forest In. That book sent me down some twists and turns at the end there. That was a very interesting ending. I did not see it going in the direction that it went in. And yeah. I'm just gonna need to sit and process that for a good minute. What? One of the chapters at the end was literally just like back and forth of like twisted to like this whole chapter I was just like constantly like what so that was very clever, enjoyed it. Now the vlog can end. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next one.